we will talk about the ABCDE of the data science. So when I say ABCDE, it doesn't not only mean the basics of data science, but it has got an acronym for itself. So A stands for advantages and benefits. C stands for challenges and disadvantages and the expectations of the data science. Okay. In this slide, I'm going to speak on the advantages and the disadvantages of the data science. To begin with, everyone knows that it has got very high demand in the industry because of the applicability part of it, and also the impact what it has at the industry at an operations level, and also at an individual productivity level. And second, the abundance of positions or roles available in the market, because it is very nascent profile what is available in the market. In fact, Harvard Business Review has went on to say in the year 2016 as well as in 2017 that it is the most available and sought out job profiles in the industry. The first profile is on for data scientists and who learn and deploy data science. The second most preferred job profile is the professors who teach in the field of data science. So in and out, directly or indirectly, one has to be involved in the data science in the market what is available with us, and it has got a high impact on individuals' personal life as well. And the third point is on the highly paid career. The reason is the difference and disruption what it will bring to the table that makes it much more lucrative and coveted profile. Hence, companies won't hesitate to pass it on the revenue what an individual or a company can benefit out of the person who is in the field of data science. And every company is trying to have a department within themselves as data science department looking into their internal data as well as creating value for their customers. And it is most respected, highly prestigious. The reason is very simple: because of the impact which is having on the environment and also in the value chain in the industry. It has got very high respect for an individual who is working around data science, as well as even companies who are adopting to the data science agility and maturity assessment. That also has got a high credibility in terms of their performance and accuracy of output what one company can offer for their customers. And the fifth point as advantage is on the versatility, means the replication of these process improvements, and also in terms of the impact it can have at different sector levels, whether it is banking finance, or whether it is HR, whether it is marketing, whether it is automobiles or retail per se. Since it has versatile in nature and the applicability part is very high, hence it forms a bigger impact in terms of overall the value generation what a company can do for their customer. So these were a set of advantages what we deal with data science. Coming to the disadvantages, what we have is many of the industry personnel who are already in the data science use the word data science without context. When I say that, in the sense, the scope of the data science is still not so clear for the individuals who are using it, and it has been blurry used in terms of the connectivity and also connecting the dots between the process. And the second, there is a myth in the industry that going through a 40-hour classrooms and one can try to master the data science. But I would say that it is almost near to impossible, or it is very difficult to master the data science, because the reason is the data science as a topic, as a course itself is evolving, and we still have not reached a stage where we can confine the scope of the data science. So that's why it throws a challenge in terms of how to master the data science from a consumer point of view and also from an industry point of view. Third, uh, like data science requires not just a data science or a technique or a tool knowledge, but also it requires statistical understanding, mathematical modeling, and the third dimension, which is on the domain knowledge. So one has to have spent enough 5 to 6 years of experience in the domain, because when you want to pick up a practical problem in the industry, one with a complete business understanding in the domain can give better value for their customer or to the problem and assess that. So that's where it becomes three-dimensional complex world. Hence, it is much more valued and paid also highly. In terms of fourth point, which poses a challenge, is on the arbitrary data may lead to unexpected results. In the sense, normally people tend to miss the reliability of the data as well as in terms of validity of the data what one has to test, because without doing these steps, if you go ahead and analyze the results might come, but it might not give the expected results of the actual problem what you are trying to solve. And the fifth important problem what we face with data science is the problem of data privacy. If I have to say data privacy and confidentiality, so far from April 2016, only European Union has come up with a regulation called as GDPR, General Data Privacy Regulation. Other than that, I have not seen so much control on the specific data of personal as well as any confidential information being uplifted in terms of maintaining the confidentiality. So that's where the data science becomes much more lucrative, at the same time complex. Now, for those who have joined, I know we have different set of people who have joined, from students to industry experts to those who have already been practicing data science in their day-to-day operations of their office. So I would say everyone should start partnering with the data. Okay, how to look at this slide is, let's make this slide as 4 quadrant. Let me draw up a line and call this as quadrant 1, and call this as quadrant 2, and this one as quadrant 3, and the fourth one as quadrant 4. And let's take this as an input, and the output is what we want to expect out of the data science. Okay, so in terms of input, each student should have access to data and access to data privacy through many of the databases which are available through journal, or let's say few of the databases like EBSCO, ResearchGate, and other international journal databases. So universities and companies should give these open access for their employees or the students, so that there is no limitation as such in terms of accessing the data. Even if you don't get so much support from your university or from the company, still you can go ahead and enroll yourself for available open sources like Kaggle. Kaggle is being maintained and managed by Google. It's an open source community platform wherein you will get to access a lot of data sets within data science, and you can participate and build a community in terms of picking up the problem and solving for the world. And one more is GitHub. GitHub is acquired and managed by Microsoft. These are the most popular forums where you can test and try and learn related to data science. So I would highly recommend people to create profiles in these two open platforms. I know everyone spend time with LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media. At the same time, consider this as an habit or additional behavior which one has to inculcate if they want to stay in the field of data science. So given that everyone has access and information is neutrally available to everyone and it gives equal opportunity, let's look at how to make use of these 4 quadrants. So with data, learning has to be personalized. With the advent of Byju's, Vedantu, and other education organizations who have come forward in terms of personalizing the content and learning for different individuals, that is the way forward. Each one of us should start personalizing and learning in terms of their individual capability and assessment skills, so that one can develop over a period of time based on their inquisitiveness and what kind of focus and area they want to do, because now information is available in abundance and you can have unlimited access to the data around you. So that calls for a individual personalization, and one should start defining the path as early as possible. And definitely in the college, since you will have time to focus on things and plan for your career, I would suggest that start learning in terms of having a personalized learning for yourself. And the second quadrant, in the sense, many of the people look for the ready-made data set from different sources. I would say with data, start partnering and owning the learning and start creating the data, or look at the gaps where you can add value to the data set available, and through surveys, through other medias where you can concatenate and also blend the data and create a new data sets. More and more we start partnering with the available data set and start create or contributing to the data set, the opportunities will be more, and even the results can give better outcomes for the problems what you have picked up. And in terms of Q3, like don't constrain yourself to the learning inside the classroom or on the simulation techniques what has been taught in the class, but I would suggest go and pick up the data and practical business projects, collaborate with your colleagues, peers or friends, and try to look at how differently you could solve the same problem if it is already solved, or pick up the problems which are more general in nature, and at the same time there is no limitation of the data set, and start trying to like solve those problems. And there is no dearth for problems to pick up. There are plenty of problems, and with now all big data, AI and machine learning coming into picture, we can imagine picking up the problems which was never imagined before, let's say 3 years or 5 years from now. Okay. And fourth quadrant talks about learning, not just learning in terms of situation, but also in terms of learning for the life, in terms of mastering. And also one should learn to measure the time spent. When I say measure the time spent, either your learning should be in terms of outcomes what have driven for any individuals, or even that can be for a not for profit organizations. So the impact is what is measured. So that's what quadrant 4 talks about. Once you follow this methodology in your college days or in your life, definitely you will be ready, rather than being waiting for the opportunity or waiting for the trainings to happen or come to you. You are already industry ready, and that will normally enhance your individual value outside in the market. So in the agenda, what I'm going to focus is what is data science, machine learning and AI. And I will look into why data science is the most coveted role and how to pursue career in data science. Okay. So let me discard some of the changes which have happened here. So, okay. Okay, so first to begin with, what is data science, machine learning and artificial intelligence? In a layman term, I will try to give you data means a piece of information, and science means applying scientific methods in terms of making a meaningful analysis out of the data available. And second, in terms of machine learning, it is making machine to learn themselves and make them more precision in terms of delivering the work or a process which have been done so far by the humans, but making sure that that precision and accuracy is achieved in terms of reducing the cycle time for many of the machines. So this is what machine learning deals with. And the third, the artificial, in a layman term, if I have to say, then I would say artificially infusing the decision making capability into the machines or the process or the operations, to make sure that based on the rules and guidelines given in the algorithms or in any of the data structures, the machine should be able to pick the decision what it has to make and take up the job and do it for the organization or an individual. So in a layman term, I've just coined the words data science, machine learning and artificial intelligence for you. Now let's understand what is big data. Okay, so what is the difference between a normal data and a big data is when any data becomes three-dimensional. Okay, let me put up in a pictorial representation. When it has got very high volume, when I say very high volume, where humanly it is difficult to manipulate, moderate or work or play with the data, then it becomes a volume which is beyond a human moderation techniques. Then the second V stands for velocity, means the rate at which the data is being generated. Means if the data is getting generated from any machine, sensor device or any other clicks happening or events happening around in terms of promotion, then that the rate at which the data is coming is very difficult to keep cleaning and managing that in a real time. That is when the velocity will come into picture, which is second dimension. And the third dimension is on the variety. It talks about the data available in different formats at the real time. In the sense, some data can be in the form of XLS format, some can be in JSON, some can be in PDF, some can be in PPT or CSV, comma separated values as such. So the expectation in the data science world to manage and blend the data in different forms and keep it ready for the next set of analysis, and all that should happen in a real time. If that is the expectation, then obviously one should have this three-dimensional view of the data set available. That is when a normal data becomes a big data, or we will be in a position to call any data set as a big data, because it has got high volume in nature, which is the first dimension, which is V1. And the second one talks about the velocity, means the rate at which it is generating. And the third V stands for the variety of the data what is available in the data set. Once that is tabulated in a table format, and then when it is ready, and all this should happen seamlessly. When I say seamlessly, there should not be a processing time in terms of having that ready. So that's where the big data has come into data science, and that is where all the fuzz around data scientist and the job profiles are expected to do in the world of data science. Okay, so I hope this has explained the understanding of the big data. Now coming into data science is very multidisciplinary in nature. So at the core of it, it talks about the statistics and statistical methods, the pattern recognitions like skincare, cancer, or anything in the medical field, machine learning in terms of algorithm deployment, and also data mining like natural language processing or NLP or text mining and all that, and databases and data processing in terms of converting unstructured data into a structured databases, and visualizations in terms of converting a normal data set or a data into a proper presentable presentations with clear visualization like projections, time series, and all that. So this is where at the core of the data science stands for. But what it makes difference is it in terms of planning the business strategies. That is where most of the impact is happening. We can plan, predict, at the same time act on the business strategies, and also it allows us to project our business decisions in terms of prescriptive analysis or in terms of evolved organizations and all that. And also, since the replicability is very high in terms of domain, whether it is BFSI or retail or even automobiles or for that matter retail, hence any solutions which you have found in the industry, if we are in a similar situation in any other industry where we need to solve the problem, the replicability is very high. That calls for a domain knowledge. And in terms of automating the communications nowadays, like I think everyone would have seen the bots being deployed into the websites where it addresses the initial trigger of any customer landing into the page, and communication process has been very streamlined in terms of setting up FAQ questions inside the website or the presentations where most of the basic questions are addressed, and the time is well spent on the productive tasks. And also in terms of problem solving capabilities, so that is where we are taking up global problems like carbon footprints, or in terms of the pollution enforcement, or we are taking up collective decisions in terms of picking up the global problems through data science to solve the global problems around it. Okay, so this is where data science becomes more powerful because of its nature. Now why there is so much of hype about data science, I want to spend a little time on this slide. The reason is very simple. I want to each one of you to take away like where we stand as of today and what is there in store for the people who want to make a career or be part of this wave. Okay, so how to read this slide is this curve is called as plateau curve, very similar to product life cycle. If you have studied product life cycle in your college days or in your work, you will understand how a product life cycle is meant for. So how to read this is this entire plateau curve is divided into 5 segments. One is innovation trigger, peak of inflation, and the third one is on disillusionment, and the slope of enlightenment, and the plateau of productivity. Okay, and this curve gives us where we stand in terms of the innovation and the task, which is depicted in this circle, which is less than 2 years, and in the blue circle, which is 2 to 5 years from now, what is going to happen and where we stand, and 5 to 10 years, similarly more than 10 years and absolute before plateau. Okay, some of the processes will die before it reach the plateau of productivity. So I will take you through what is this. Innovation trigger is nothing but where we are still in the ideation stage, where we are still having research articles being published and we are working on the conceptualization and around that. So that is where it talks about. Peak of inflation expectation is nothing but where we have analyzed the practicality of that, and we are in the verge of practically solving the problem for the industry as well as the consumers. Through disillusion means it is about expected versus the actual, wherein we have touched the reality and we have understood where we stand in terms of the actual practicality of the task. And slope of enlightenment is more of creating efficiency and doing process improvement around the scope and bringing value to the customers. And plateau of productivity is more of like it has been already deployed in many of the devices or in the industry, and we are looking at making or scaling up within different sectors. Okay, so with this regard, let's see where data science stands. Data science still stands, I would say, in between the innovation stage to the peak of inflation. So we are yet to see the peak of inflated expectation for the data science. So in next 2 to 5 years, we will see what are the other things where it will have blend with different things around the data science, and we will see. To say that where we stand in terms of as of today, I would say less than 2 years is where I would say that in-memory analytics, in the sense how much memory allocation should be done for any set of analysis to be done, and already speech recognition is in place and deployed in many of the mobile devices where speech command is happening, whether it is Alexa or mobile or any such commands to be activated. And if I see any other circles, yeah, these are the one which I have already like can be expected in next 2 years. The next 2 to 5 years is where most of the things are happening, whether it is 3D scanner, enterprise 3D printing, in memory in the database management for the enterprise applications, content analytics, even the data science as a world. And in next 5 to 10 years is where most of the quantum computing, this one, brain computer interface, connected homes, all that is going to come in terms of next 5 to 10 years. In terms of more than 10 years who want to imagine or visualize themselves, then these are the way areas where quantum computing, quantum computing stands for, if most of you are from the computer science background, then you will know the binary system which we adopted like 30 years back, which is binary. Now we are having a processing capability of 10 to the power of 9. That is the processing speed what we have achieved now through quantum computing, and that is going to increase our processing speed. So that is where the 5th generation of internet broadband is coming into picture, and very soon we will see the processing capabilities of different processors being enhanced using quantum computing. Like that, next 5 to 10 years is very lucrative, and data science as a world and as a job is going to stay for at least 1 decade, so we can plan our career in these areas. Hope this slide is useful. If any questions, definitely I would address, not only here. You can follow me on LinkedIn profile, and you can also reach out to me if you have any questions. We can collaborate, at the same time work towards taking up any problems collectively and trying to solve. If not we achieve the outcome, definitely learning will be there as a part of our study. So moving on, the reason is the like business models have changed. Before, if I have to say that old model was few companies were generating data like Google, Apple, other companies who are in consumer information and knowledge sharing. But now the models are like everyone is generating the data and everyone is consuming the data. That is where the three-dimensional big data has come into picture, and business models have changed. The before, if I have to say that consistency in delivery was the focus, then now accuracy of the data and the real time seamless delivery of the data is what is important at the current time. So now if I have to give you a differentiation between AI, ML and deep learning, the deep learning is something which is not even 3 to 4 years old in the industry. So it forms the subset of the machine learning, wherein deep learning uses neural network, in the sense someone who wants to influence the behavior of any individual based on the promotion or based on the activities of the past. So that is where deep learning is happening, and most of the work is happening for the industry inside deep learning. And machine learning is more on as a subset of artificial intelligence, wherein we are going to deploy different algorithms to find, test and train the set, and also make sure that reinforcement learning is done for the machine and then deployed for the scalability of the process. So this is where the scope of artificial intelligence lies, and that is where the importance of machine learning and deep learning exists in the field of AI. Now let's spend some time here on this slide because it is important. We as a people who want to pursue our career in the area of data science, we should understand what are the companies and what is that they are dealing with currently, so that we don't look for a job, but we want to create a role for ourselves wherein our value addition would contribute in terms of revenue generation or at the bottom line for these organizations. If we are able to achieve that, or we are thinking in that mindset, then we will not be looking for a job, but ways to contribute to the organization where you are now, or organization will look for you how they can induct you and make you as a partner in success for their organization. So first, to start with, I would say the first focus where most of the companies are spending their time and revenue is on the analytics and visualization. The companies like Tableau, which has been acquired by Salesforce in 2017, and they are very big in terms of data visualization. At the same time, maybe I will add few more names here, which is Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, where most of the business intelligence data visualization is happening. Not only that, there are a few other companies like Teradata, Aster, or even Alteryx is a very good company where they specializes in data blending techniques. So if you get time, try to find information what they are doing. If your time and the focus allows you to spend time in learning these tools, I would recommend, strongly suggest that you go ahead and train yourself in these tools, because these will be part of your life on a day-to-day basis once you are in the data science. No one will tell you which tool to use. Only people will be focused on how best you can solve the business question for them. So in that time, I don't want any of our peers or friends to struggle when choosing the tools or the data, rather spend more time in analyzing the data and giving the solution. So that is where most of the focus is happening as a first priority in the organization. The second one, which is getting matured in nature, is on the business intelligence side. There are OBI tools, PeopleSoft from Oracle, and like that, there are many other tools like SAP and Microsoft, or Cognos from IBM, or MicroStrategy from the Microsoft, or ClickView, which are open source. Like that, there are many other business intelligence tools. At this point in time, my request to all the audience who are listening to me here, don't get confused if you see a lot of tools here. I'm not expecting, nor the industry is expecting you to learn all the tools, but whatever one or two tools, based on the impact and what is the need of that tool in the industry, if you try to learn, I'm not even asking to master it, try to learn, then that itself will take you in a position where we will be using that tools on a day-to-day basis to pick up the problem or the data set and give the solutions or the outcome or the visualization what company is looking for or the organization is looking for. So I would say at least try to learn Tableau and Microsoft Power BI. And if your technology side or something where your background allows you to learn more, then try to learn MicroStrategy or Oracle OBI. And then there are few application driven companies who are spending a lot of time. I would say third one is on the advertisement and media, like Rocket, Media Science, Data Exo, and all these companies. And there are few predictive policy companies which they spend time on Bloomreach, Myrix, and all that. And there are few technology companies also who are collecting data in terms of Sumo Magic, or DLL files are being getting stored in this Splunk or Logly. And also most of the consulting firms are spending time in data as a service, where third-party companies like TCS, Infosys, all these people have come. Before it was a world of software as a service, now it is data as a service. In fact, each of the companies are trying to assess the maturity level of the data, what each organization are holding within themselves, and what is that they are doing with the customers. So few of the companies are like here. This is from Google, which is which is named as Kaggle, which is open source application. And also Locate is one of the company, and also most of the consulting companies come here. And this entire sector stands for all those technical people who want to make big bucks in the world of data science. So analytics as an infrastructure, Hortons, Cloudera, EMC Square, Netezza, all these are the companies where you can find role if you know the tool better. So these are enterprise tools. So maybe you may not get access openly in the outside, but definitely there are books and also reference journals where you can go and learn on your own. Third, who are already in the domain for 5 to 10 years, then this is the area to look at, where Adapt, Informatica, Couchbase, Tengen, all are there, where you can mark logic, where you are required to reduce the cycle time of the operations. So three big things on the infrastructure as a service which is happening are from three big companies. One Amazon Web Services, second one is on the Microsoft Windows Azure, and the third is Google BigQuery, which is also called as GCL. Okay, so most of the companies or employees who are in IT, all are expected to master either one of these tool or all the three, because that is where most of the infrastructure as a service is opened up, and next 2 to 3 years is where it is looked at. And the fourth one where it is becoming absolute is on the structured database, and the below are all completely technical. If you want to master the database structuring and all that, then Adobe Produce, HBase, and Cassandra are the tools to look after. In terms of technology adoption, I would spend like very quick time in terms of technology adoption. So from terabyte fast data, big analytics to deep learning. So that is where we are spending most of the time. And I will take you through some quick examples. Healthcare, like now with the use of AI, we are able to predict heart attack much earlier than it happens. And the second example is on the UK fugitive, where by assessing and creating a profile of the people in the custody, they are able to assess low, medium, or high risk using the heart assessment, arm assessment risk tool. And in the retail, in-store promotion is very big thing, whether it is Amazon Go checkout counters or Walmart everyday low pricing. These are the strategies and the in-store promotions which are happening in the retail world. And some more examples like time of hiring and the effort required in hiring process, entire HR analytics has been transitioned. Or even using only skin images, we are able to detect skin cancer way ahead. Or like recommender systems in the Netflix, or even facial recognition, which is available in the mobiles now. It has become a more of a commodity and a feature rather than a special technique. So we looked at what so far. Let me quickly take you through why. So why a career in data science is important? Because the interest it generates, it looks like it is not a work, but we are solving a puzzle. And the amount of money as a motivation you will get because of the value you create. And also data science will enhance your capability. So more and more the day you spend in this domain, it only enhances your capability. That's why it becomes more lucrative, and be the first person or be part of the wave which is happening in the data science. And interesting workplace, high salary, global opportunities, and also future proof. Data science to disrupt 1.7 million jobs by 2022. So now in next 1 minute, I'm going to spend how to pursue career in data science. um, I told you to register yourself in Kaggle and GitHub. So these are the two open source communities available for learning purpose, which will take care of your learning part. Second, please take up certifications in any of the vendors and try to do internship, which can give you hands-on experiences. And third one is to collaborate and take up the projects for the industry, which will give you the exposure. And then fourth step would be to look for jobs. Rather, I would say seek assignments that will end up getting a good lucrative jobs in the industry. But at the same time, one should understand one has to learn hacking and programming skills. And don't be afraid, because programming is not something Greek, Latin, or anything. It is another language how we speak English. I'm very sure more and more time you spend, the need of programming skill will diminish. The reason is one should be able to at least edit and translate the existing codes to the objective what we have set for the problem. So in that case, programming skills is required. Otherwise, it is more of other things like learning mathematics and statistics. See, first, hacking as well as mathematics and statistics can be learned through classroom or online. But the third one, which is on the business domain, that requires you to get industry exposure. Only if you get industry exposure, then only it would be very helpful, and also you'll be sought out. So these are some of the roles available, like from data science developer to infrastructure engineer, analyst, business person, and the certified data scientist. And the entire framework revolves around 6 segments, which is on business understanding, business understanding, wherein we convert a business problem into a mathematical model, and data understanding, in which what type of data and where to collect the data. Data preparation stands for cleaning, missing value analysis, and all that. Then doing a modeling through research design and methodology. Then test and train for evaluation of the model what you have done, and then deploy it for the practical purpose. So this is where, and this is the last slide, the future of data science. what we are going to see is there will be a new fancy names and roles will get created, whether it is contextual master, research design specialist, or certified data enhancer, like that. All fancy names and roles will come into picture, wherein it doesn't matter what designation you are, but you will be expected to solve the practical problems using the data what you will have or you have to look for. Then more and more you will get clarity in terms of defining the scope of the data science, as we have not still reached the inflection point. It will take some time before we reach the confirmation of the scope. Then creation of more jobs, obviously. And the fourth one is on normalizing the data science in the education. So that will be part very soon in terms of not only at the college, but starting from the primary, we will start looking at data science as a subject, and it will get normalized. How we have electricity at home, telephone, mobile, and all that, even data science in the education also will get normalized. And the next thing is advancement in the machine learning to faster the data science. So it's a very good field to be in, and at the same time exciting times to come. So with this I want to end this talk, and now I would take the next segment, which is on the question and answer session. So I know I took few minutes more than what has been designed, but we will try to compensate in the question and answers. So are there any questions? Anyone has any questions or any clarity you want to seek on the content what I have presented? At the same time, in general, as a data science, if you have any career perspective or counseling needs to be done, feel free to ask questions. I will be happy to answer to my best ability.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, this is Mandar here. So you mentioned that you can start with some of the certification courses which are provided by these vendors. Can you suggest a few for us?
Yeah,
We
definitely.
haven't studied data science.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
start with, any
Yes.
certification you can
Yes,
suggest?
definitely. I would recommend there are plenty of institutes out there, but I would suggest, since I have tested and trained different students in Datamites, I would say Datamites as an institute to get yourself registered. So Datamites is, go to the website, you will get a bot in terms of the next steps what it be taking, and then you can register yourself. This is one company. The other one is for any industry internship and projects, you can look at Rubix. Okay, they also provide summer internship and projects for the industry, this thing. Then there is, on the analytics front, you can look at Skill4 or Skill Logic. Okay, so these are some of the institutes which definitely give you a lot of exposure. And feel free, because competition is wide open. Try and evaluate. Go to LinkedIn profiles and found out what is happening and who is seeking what. Definitely you will end up in having these institutes coming up and giving you exposure. So I would suggest be institute independent, but focus on the content structure and the exposure what any institute is going to give. Based on that, you can enroll for the certification. And I'm sure that it's not the quality of the content, but at the same time the quality of exposure what you will get will make the difference in your career. Hope this was a good advice or suggestion for you.